Hey everybody, so a couple of days ago I got this comment on one of my videos and I thought, holy crap, someone's actually buying that. And it's about a minimalist RPG that I created and I put out into the world with very little, if any, fanfare. There's a link for it usually in all of my descriptions of my videos, and they wanted me to talk about it, and so I figured, why not? Let's make a video on it and let's talk about it. So I'm Tristan. This is Heroes in Homebrew. The game is called Death or Glory and is a very minimalist, low fantasy adventure game RPG. And it's a trifold, so when you print it out, you just fold it up, and all the rules are right there. I wanted to make it as light and easy to use as possible, like a beer and pretzels kind of like, what are we going to play tonight? Let's just play this and have fun and see how it goes. So I think I released three things for it. I released the core rules, uh, a pamphlet of monsters, and some rules on how to make it just like super weird. But let's take a look at the rules, and I'll give you some of my thoughts behind the process and everything, and maybe some ideas on how you could use this. This is basically the core rules. This is the player guide, and I don't know why I didn't release the GM guide, but I guess I forgot about it, or hey, it's future me. And I went back and I looked, and the GM guide is actually bundled with the player guide. So when you buy the Death or Glory PDF, you get the player guide and the GM guide together. So it wasn't an oversight on my part. I did actually do it. It's good to know. Back to the show. So I haven't really interacted with this in a couple of years. I kind of put it out there and just forgot about it. So there's three classes. You have Barbarian, Scoundrel, and Archer. So your Barbarian is your fighter, Scoundrel is your thief, and your Archer is your sort of like ranged combat. There's skills you can choose from: athletics, stealth, find, disarm traps, blade master to use when you're attacking, perform, steal, scare, jump, climb walls, rage, heal, tracking, pick locks, and sniper. So I thought, okay, this is kind of makes it so that the characters are a little customizable. The classes automatically come with their attack, damage, and armor bonuses. And because it's so minimalist, you could mix and match. You could create your own classes for it very easily. So each character starts with 3 points to put into skills. When characters gain levels, they get another point to either put in attack, damage, bonus, or skills. And each point in a skill equals +1 when using that skill for any task the Game Master deems the skill necessary. Gold equals XP. Each enemy defeated earns XP. 100 XP for easy, 200 XP for medium, 300 XP for hard. So that means that instead of each creature having like a set XP, it goes by how difficult that encounter was. So you could have three goblins that maybe should have been easy, but it turns out it was a really hard fight. They'll get more XP because it was very hard. For each level, the XP needed is doubled, so 1,000 for second level, 2,000 for third, etc. And the highest level you can get to is sixth. So it's not a grand sweeping game where you guys are going to go up to 20th level and domain play and all that. Is really just like kick in doors and kill monsters. You have your basic weapons here. It does everything's based on a d6. So dagger does 1d6, sword does 2d6, and axe does 3d6. And they're costing gold pieces. Crossbow is 1d6, a bow is 2d6. And to fight, you roll 3 6-sided dice. Add the modifier. If the total is greater than the enemy's armor, the attack hits. If 3 6s are rolled, double the maximum damage dealt. So that's your critical hit. And when you get beat up, every level characters gain another 1d6 to roll and add the points to their hit points. Add the result to the hit points. Death is at 0 hit points, and healing you heal 1d6 hit points per day after rest. So this is how you do stuff. Skill checks are made by rolling a 6-sided dice and subtracting the modifier, if any. So if you have modifiers in steal and you're trying to steal, you're going to roll 1d6 and subtract. So if you roll 1d6 and you roll a 3, you're going to subtract your +1 or +2 or whatever from that result and then it'll lower it. Alternatively, if you wanted to make it a little different, you could say, okay, well, if this is a very hard task, but you've got a +3, you're going to roll a 1 to 4. However, that means that things that are very easy, I say if you have very easy and it's 1 to 5 to do something that's very easy and you have a +3 modifier on it, then you might as well not roll at all. So that's a way of getting around that. Yes, very easy tasks you can fail at them, but if you have a skill in that very easy task, then chances are you don't even need to roll for it. So you have your very easies, you have to roll 1 to 5 on a 6, easy 1 to 4, moderate 1 to 3, hard 1 to 2, or very hard is a 1. Buying stuff, equipment for dungeon crawling, thievery, and other adventures costs between 1 to 5 gold pieces. It is up to the game master to decide how much any item a character might ask for costs. Characters start with 2d6 times 10 gold pieces. Then moving, characters move 40 feet in a turn. Characters always go first in combat unless they are ambushed. So there's no initiative, characters are always going first. And then you have your basic little character sheet here. So the players just print this out, they have it in front of them, there's a character sheet and all the rules in one sheet. Now the GM guide is basically just some tips for it. So making rulings, keep the pace moving, keep it going forward. Killing characters, don't be afraid to kill your characters, death or glory, one or the other. Making dungeons, a dungeon can be an underground series of caves, it can be a noble's tower, a stronghold built in it by a twisted mage. It's up to you, it just needs rooms, traps, and enemies to fight. Make any creatures you can imagine using the characters as template. There's no rules for wilderness travel or random encounters or stuff. I think a lot of GMs who are going to bring this to their table probably have enough experience to kind of make that up on the fly. You're like, I'm just going to roll a d6, and if it comes up as a 1, there's a wandering monster. It's pretty simple concept to do. I think it's really maybe not that necessary. Let them do cool stuff. Skill checks are made by rolling a 6-sided dice and subtracting the modifier, if any. Rolls must be equal to or under the target number for the difficulty. Very easy is 1 to 5, easy is 1 to 4, moderate's 1 to 3, hard's 1 to 2, very hard is 1. Let them buy stuff, obviously. If they ask for it and it makes sense, just why not just let them buy it? Traps always deal 1 to 2d6 damage, depending on the trap. And there's a small list of adventure hooks that you can use to get yourself started. Rumors of a tomb full of treasure spread through the town. The local lord is offering a reward to whoever can find out what is killing the miners. Undead have been spotted near an ancient crypt. Strange lights can be seen above the ruins of an ancient keep on the mountain. Treasure, a good rule of thumb, should be 1,000 to 2,000 gold pieces per dungeon, depending on the difficulty. Treasure should be split among the players equally. Hard or easy, deciding if an enemy is hard or easy for the players is a matter of perspective. Did they defeat the enemy in one round, or did they almost all die? Don't worry about making the wrong call. And some enemies here. So this is how to make it weird. I'm a big fan, especially for games like this where, it's kind of beer and pretzels and you're just running through it. I think making things strange and fun and weird is interesting and fun. So to make it weird, you roll 1d6 to find out how the world got weird. You have a strange meteor lands, covers the world with strange energy. Years ago, a spacecraft crashed in the mountains. The alien has been living among humans, spreading its technology. Dark mages. So this obviously wasn't edited very well. I need a apostrophe there. Anyway, Dark Mage's experiments blew up in his face. Literally, nothing has been the same since. Rocks from the deepest mines have been used to power uncontrollable technology. Another planet has floated into orbit, tossing the laws of physics into chaos. Stuff is just weird because it's fun. Swirling pools of chaos, blue portals can sometimes be found scattered throughout the land. The magic of these portals cannot be controlled or predicted. Roll 1d6 to find out what happens when you step through. So you roll on this. So basically, it's just a way to set up an adventure for the night, or like if you're like, hey, let's try this out. We're only going to play it once, and you just roll on these tables, and you're like, okay, this is really bizarre, but that's what we're here for. So, and then you have for the swirling pools chaos, the random tables, you instantly transported to a random location. The character's physiology changes; they grow another set of arms. Could be anything. Could change it any way you want. They gain a second attack every round. Or if they grow 2 extra legs. They run super extra fast. They can move like double speed or whatever. As long as the changing of their physiology gives them something interesting, then it doesn't have to be just the arms. Gravity is no longer a law for the character. Any jumping roll that would be very hard becomes very easy. Cool. Character turns to dust. That's not awesome. Character grows a prehensile tail. All characters are transported to another world. And then you have the weird worlds they're transported to. Towering purple fungus scatter the landscape and are inhabited by monkey-like creatures. Mountains float above the ground and are connected by floating rocks. A world of the future with robots, flying cars, and ray guns. A mountainous, barren red planet with a single gargantuan city. Time moves more slowly. The world is covered in water and cities rise out of the sea. And you have weird weapons and equipment. Ray gun, staff of change, talking sword, laser sword, jetpack, UFO, time machine. Travels randomly into the past or future. And it has a cost associated to each of these things. Time travel, don't do it. No good can come of it. But if for some reason characters manage to time travel, roll 1d6 on this table. And then they travel 1d6 into the past or future. 1d6 times 2 minutes into the past, the future. 1d6 hours into the past, the future. 1d6 times 2, 2d6 years. 2d6 years, 3d6 times 100 years. So you can really create like this. Wow, okay, they traveled 100 years into the future. Or 300 years into the future. What's it going to be like? And running a game. Let your players loose. Game master and player creativity should be embraced in a weird game. Use these light rules as guidelines to be imaginative and mix genres and styles. Anything can happen in a weird game. And then some more creatures. Whip bats, Morlocks, Reticulans, Fun Guys, and Futurists. Alright, so this is the Monstrous Menagerie. It's just a collection of extra monsters. And take a look at the monsters are set up exactly the same way as the characters are. You have your armor, attack, damage, hit points. Monsters don't have skill points. They can do whatever it says in the description. Some of the monsters don't have descriptions. So you have carnivorous ants, beastmen, cyclops, cannibals, dragons, desert worms, eel of despair, fairies, fungal spores, frost giants, gorillas, hydras, mammoth, noble, saber-toothed tiger, skeleton. So basically you can use this to create like an interesting, fun, weird evening of play, or if you actually want to try and like create a campaign that runs, it's not going to run that long, but a campaign that runs like a couple of months or whatever, you can use this to like sort of bring in your favorite characters from other things. Be like, okay, well, what would their armor be, their attack, etc. So it's really meant to be as simple as possible and sort of let your imagination loose. How would I run this? What would I do? Well, first of all, I think this kind of game lends itself to being randomly generated. I would use dungeon morphs or sort of maybe the deck of random dungeons to start with. Just a simple adventure hook to get players going. I would have players maybe play multiple characters because I think this game kind of lends itself to being deadly in a way. I would keep it sort of simple and lighthearted. I wouldn't try and build something super complicated or like try and create a narrative campaign out of it. Yeah, so like a random dungeon geomorphs. Maybe create a random table of creatures for each dungeon or for that dungeon. It's not hard. There's not that many creatures in there. Don't be afraid of using super deadly traps on it. Don't trap everything, but every trap should be like should risk killing the players. And yeah, just have fun with it. Don't be afraid to get weird and be like, you know what, you're in this dank dungeon and you found a ray gun. Like mix it up and make it as bizarre as possible. That's where this game will really shine, is if you just lean into the bizarreness and as a GM just let loose of control and let it get really funky. So that's it. That was Death or Glory, my very early attempt at creating a minimalist TTRPG. I think at this point there's enough in there that maybe it could be a zine at some point. Let me know what you think. If you guys pick it up and give it a whirl, if you want me to keep adding to it, or turn it into a zine or something and put it all out as one thing, that's possible. I didn't put a license on it. It's not like Creative Commons or anything like that, but I mean, it's yours. Go, if you print it out and you want to create stuff for it, go for it. Have fun. I'm not going to come after anyone for it. I think it's pretty awesome if someone picks up this game and decides that they want to sort of create stuff for it and release it, then that's very cool, and go for it. You have my blessing. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at my very rough, very early minimalist trifold RPG. And until next time, save a seat for me at your table.